everybody, I'm Victoria from Cosy Country here in partnership with Cosy Owl. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make layered wax melts using 3 different colours. So let's get going.
So let's see what we've got here. I have 800 grams of soy pillar wax here. And I have 7 clamshells here, which I have done the measurements for, and I know that that will be perfect. I also have 2 dyes here, and 1 layer I'm not going to dye. So I've got red and pink just there. I have 50 ml of strawberry fragrance oil here, my thermometer, and I do have 3 melting pots. So I'm going to measure out my wax just here. And I'm going to measure out 200 grams into each pot. This will give me a little bit extra, but it's not to worry because I can always do a re-pour afterwards, so no wax will go to waste. So 200 in each pot will be just fine for me. Now I've measured all my wax out, I've popped it onto a medium heat and I'm just going to let it melt. I'll keep coming back to it and giving it a good stir around just to make sure it does melt all the way through. And once it is all measured out, I'm going to double check the temperature. So I want this to be somewhere around 60 degrees here. So I'm just going to double check and make sure that it's somewhere around there. I am expecting it to be a little bit too hot, but that's not to panic because I can just pop it to one side for 10 minutes just to cool down. This layer is going to be the layer without dye, so once it's all cooled down, I'm going to go straight on and pop my fragrance oil in. So I'll just keep double checking the temperature here. So just having a quick look here, you can see that I'm just over the 70 degrees mark. So I'm going to pop my wax to one side just to cool down for 5 to 10 minutes and get to the 60 degrees mark. Once we're at 60 degrees, I'm ready to pop in my fragrance oil. So I'm going to pop in around 15 millilitres here to my 200 grams of wax. That'll be roughly 8% of fragrance oil to my wax. If you wanted to use more fragrance oil in your wax, that's absolutely fine. You can use up to 12%, but I just didn't want these wax melts to be too potent. So I've just gone for a nice 8% just here. And once it's all measured up, I'm going to give it a really good stir around just to make sure that I can carry the fragrance oil all the way through the wax and we don't have any little blank patches. So give it a good stir around. And now we're going on to the first pour. So just pour part the way up into your clamshells. You want to be pouring this wax at around 55 degrees ideally. And that's what I am pouring at now, and you can see it even trying to set almost as soon as it hits the clamshell, which is a good sign. So you just pour part the way up, and in these clamshells they hold roughly 78 grams of wax each. So that would leave you with about 26 grams per layer if you wanted them to be absolutely perfect. I'm not going to measure mine too much here. I'm going to go with a natural instinct, only because I was too scared of spilling it all. So I'm just going to go with it and see how they look when they're finished, but I'm hoping that I can kind of get them nice and even. Once you've poured your first layer, leave it for half an hour just to set in between each layer. Whilst that wax is setting, I'm going to crack on with my next layer. I've melted my 200 grams of wax and taken it off the heat. And just as a side note, don't ever put your wax directly over a flame. Then I'm going to pop in some of my light rose pink because I want a kind of ombre effect here. I don't want this to look too dark either, so I'm just going to pop in a little pinch, around about 1 gram, so that it will be a nice light pastel pink colour. You want your wax to be somewhere around the 60 degrees mark when you're adding your dye, and then give it a really good stir around just to make sure the colour has melted all the way through the wax. And once you have done that and you're happy with it, pour in your next 15 millilitres of your fragrance oil. And once you've poured in your fragrance oil, repeat the process again. Just give it a really good stir around and just keep an eye on your temperature as well. And you can pour your next layer once your first one is fully set. And then repeat the process again for a 3rd time on your last layer. And then once you have poured your last layer, leave them overnight to set fully, and then you will be ready to start using them. So moving on to the next day, mine are all set and you can see all 3 layers just there. So I'll open them up and pop them straight out. They come out nice and easy from these moulds. So you can see all 3 layers there, and I'll just show you how to break them up so you can start using them. And they literally just snap like that, nice and easy. And 1 block should be enough for your burner. So I'm just going to use 1 block on top of here, and then I'll grab my tea light and get it lit. Then you're ready to sit back and enjoy.